Dorrell back with another video, and it's been a while. You know, I've been thinking about doing a Minecraft video for a very long time, thinking about doing a live stream. And I haven't got the chance to, other than my my big fact problem when it comes to not procrastinating, because I am 100% a procrastinator, and I know this. But we're back. So I hope you guys can enjoy me being back. You guys can enjoy the conversation and just be here, you know? There's a lot of things I've been wanting to talk about. There's a lot of things I've been wanting to do with my Minecraft world, and it's good to, sit down and play again. It's just been so long since I got the video game. Just when I get on the game, I want to relax. I want to calm down. I want to open up a bag of chips and relax. But progression in video games has always been a hard thing to distinguish from real life. See, when I play a video game, I'm just like, look at all this progress that I made. But then when I look at my real life, and I'm just like, I didn't make it anywhere. Like, what am I doing? So sometimes when it comes to playing video games, I have to know that I'm playing this video game because I enjoy it rather than progression, because then I look at my real life and I'll be like, did I ever even do anything? Did I accomplish what I wanted to accomplish today? So before getting on a video game, I make sure that I feel accomplished, that I can feel good and actually sit down and allow myself to relax, which is something that we all need to do, is to allow ourselves to relax, to allow ourselves to play video games. And that's the beauty of playing a video game. You are allowing yourself to be in a different world rather than the world that you're so constantly used to. But I'm glad to be back. It feels good to be back. It really does. There's a lot of things I want to do in this world, and it's been a very long time since I got to play. So it really does feel good to be back. So last time I remember that we were ready to build our nether portal, and so in order to make that a reality, we're gonna do that today. I completely missed the stairs, even though that put it right there. Okay. Still getting used to all the controls and stuff. Like, when I mean I really don't play video games like that, I really don't play video games like that anymore. I used to play it almost every single day, but now that it's summertime and I have time to do basically whatever I want, I can do that. And I can make content, and I can enjoy the content that I make, and I can talk to the audience that want to listen to me. I might share a clip later on my Instagram or something, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. But I am definitely progressing in my life, and I love that. I love to allow myself to progress in life and to allow myself to relax and give myself a break from all that progression. Like, I progressed pretty far in Terraria, but I haven't touched it ever since, life started to happen. And even though I have things like, I'm still worried about today, sometimes it's okay to let yourself worry. Like, I could be utilizing my time now, but it's okay to relax, to reward yourself. I actually did really good before I got on the game. I went on a 3-mile run, was out for about 30 minutes, and I did a pretty good pace, and I finished. After that, I worked out, I did a little Bible study, and now I'm playing the video game. So it's good to give yourself time to be able to be you, be able to enjoy yourself, rather than stress and constantly apply stress on your life. I even had a good little debate with my girlfriend about Adam and Eve. I said like you guys knew, but we had a good debate about Adam and Eve and the bloodline and how that would be possible, which is I believe that despite incest going on in that time period, that it's possible for their bloodline to continue. Because we think of it as like, if incest happened today, number one, ill, and number two, you know, that wouldn't be possible. There's so many defects that would happen. The kids would be, you know, basically a mess, and you would not probably have a kid. But we have to consider they were pure. They came from God. That was the purity of humanity that we were supposed to have, that we were supposed to achieve, that there would be no defects. And because that they were the only people on the world, the only two in the world, they had to breed with each other. Even though that Eve came from Adam's rib, they had to breed. They had to like basically fill a population. That was their whole goal, is to create a world that was ideal to God. But as Adam's and Eve's sin continued, because they ate the apple from the Garden of Eden, we were faced with the defects that we have today if we did have ancestors. But you know, we really don't need to make love with our sister, or to marry our sister, or to breed with our sister, because there's so many other people in the world now where it's not that big of a deal. And now, since there's other people in the world that, excuse me, I'm trying to make sure I say this right, because there's other people that aren't our families, and they're, you know, we're in the population of 8 billion and so on and so forth, we don't need to breed with our siblings. And we, you know, now we legally call that wrong, but in some countries, you know, they still do that, even though we don't have to. But because Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel and Seth were the only ones in the world, they had to look for their sisters. So back then, sisters were the best form of a mother, the best form of, you know, breeding. Of course, that's not the case nowadays, because that's absolutely disgusting nowadays because of everybody we have. So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. And we had a conversation about it because it's kind of weird. I don't want to say it's kind of weird, but it's different. The relationship that we have two opposing views.
Emoji Moai, emoji index pointing at the viewer, medium dark skin tone.
But it's interesting because we have two different views and we're in a relationship. There's certain things that we have to control. Like, obviously, we're gonna have arguments, we're gonna have debates. But this one was really healthy. We had the conversation of, you know, Adam and Eve, because she doesn't believe in, you know, deities like I do, or she doesn't believe in God like I do, because I'm a Christian and she's in a different religion. So we were able to have a healthy conversation about how the bloodline will work with Adam and Eve, and how incest was a thing, and how there were defects, but the defects wasn't as prevalent as what it is today. Because Adam and Eve were pure. They were in their purest form. So even if they did make love and have a kid, they wouldn't have the defects that we would have today. But let's say if you did that with your sister nowadays, number one, that's gross. And you don't need to save the population like Adam and Eve had to do. You would have defects as well. So yeah, getting back to Minecraft. After that great
emoji
theory.
Anguished face.
So getting back to Minecraft,
Emoji skull.
Basically it was good to have that conversation of our beliefs and of Adam and Eve and what they had to do, and going on with that generational thing, because, you know, there's a lot of science behind it that we can prove how, you know, it was wrong. Well, not that it was wrong, obviously it was wrong. That we can prove how there would be defects versus if there wasn't defects. But we also have to take into account they were inherited by God. They were created by God. So whatever God creates, it's not going to be imperfect. It's not going to have defects. And the only reason why Adam and Eve sinned was because God gave them the ability of free choice to do whatever they want. But if they didn't do whatever they wanted, then they would still be in God's image. They would still be free. They would still be able to do the things that you know, they were meant to do. But, you know, things went south once they were deceived and so on and so forth. But moving on, to transition from that, because I like the idea of God being a father. Because obviously he is our father, no matter how we look at it. He was the first and he is the only. He is him. Something I wanted to, like, kind of compliment within his fathership is the fathership that we have now. Because dads, even though my biological father was the reason why I was, like, the reason why I have to mature the way I do and act the way I do is because I don't want to be like my biological father. I had a lot of problems with him, that, you know, I don't have any problems with my stepdad now, because my stepdad earned the real title of being called my dad versus my biological father, where I kind of force out saying that he's my father. When it comes to my stepdad, I want to give him that appreciation, because even though his teaching seemed weird to me, even though it seemed odd, he was still there as a father to provide for me, to love me, to care about me. Even with him not even being my biological father, he still took the role of my father, and he earned it. So yesterday, I did get in trouble with my dad. I got in trouble with my dad because I didn't tell them where I was going. And I have one of those parents where it's like, we have to communicate, because communication is key. And I 100% agree with them. And the punishment that they gave me was I couldn't go out today. And, you know, I was upset about it, of course, because I wasn't allowed to go do what I wanted to do. And I was like, can I please change my punishment? Can I do something else? Can I, you know, can I have another punishment as severe as this one? Obviously, the reason why I said, can I have a different punishment, is because I was supposed to go out that day with my friends and my girlfriend. It was going to be a great time. We were going to have fun. But you know, that obviously wasn't the case, because I was the one who got in trouble. I should have asked permission before thinking that it was okay to just randomly go off with my girlfriend after the half day. You should always communicate with your parents. You should always tell them where you want to go and who you're going to be with, because it's a safety issue, and it's also their jobs. They would be left responsible if anything happened to you. So I think that the punishment that they gave me was reasonable, even though I was upset by it, even though I wish that I didn't do that in order to be where I am, to get in the trouble that I got in. So I want to appreciate my father, because I do have a great dad. I do have a wonderful dad. He allowed me to see his view, as well as he allowed me to realize that they're not the bad guys. Even though they do things that we might not necessarily agree with, that's just people in general. People will always do things that you might not necessarily agree with, or you would do differently. But when it comes to our parents, you know, they're here to love us, they're here to care about us, and they're going to be seen as the hated, even though they don't want to be the hated, even though, you know, they do everything in their ability to try to be loved and to try to get you to understand what they're doing. And the truth is, you won't always understand what people are doing, especially parents. They have their own set of experiences that they use onto their child, or they teach onto their child, in order for them to improve, in order for them to develop, and, you know, to do new things and to try new things and to see and guide you. But you have to learn these lessons, that you can't be your own enemy, that you have to always tell them where you go, that your actions have consequences. And the consequence of my action was that I couldn't go. And I wanted to change that consequence so much, like, can I please change this consequence? Can I please change this consequence? But the reality of it is that you can't change what you do. You can't change the punishment that you get, and you can't change You can't change what they remove from you. That's the whole point of a punishment, is to receive it, not to change it. So as I received my punishment of not going anywhere today, you know, I ended up apologizing, and something that came up was I was doing good. I wanted to be rewarded, and I want to be a kid. I want to be free, stuff like that. And they were just like, yeah, we want the same for you, but you have to earn it. Like, you can do good over and over and over and over again and mess up and not get rewarded. You know, if you're always wanting to do good and always wanting to do your best, you have to keep doing your best and expecting to get something in return. But if you did your best one time out of the day, you can't expect good results. So I'm going to repeat that one more time, because I got to take that in myself. Lesson to myself to lesson to you. If you expect something good, you have to keep doing good. You don't just do good one time and be like, oh yeah, I deserve everything. No, you have to constantly work towards that good. And if you don't work towards that good, you're not going to get it. Just because you did good this one day doesn't mean you deserve something the next day. You have to constantly be a good person. You have to constantly work. It's like if you want to get a promotion, so you act super good one day and you didn't get a promotion, then keep being good, but you don't expect to be good one day and then receive that promotion. No, you got to keep working at it. That's why I really appreciate my dad, because he always tells me these lessons in like kind of parable type form, and he tells me what it's like to be a man rather than be cold, be heartless. He tells me things based off his experiences and repeats those things, so when I get older, maybe that's one thing I can say to my kid. You can't change your consequences. You have to constantly do good. You have one good day, next thing you know, you have a good week. After that good week, next thing you know, you have a good month. After that month, you have a good year. And so that's why I really appreciate my dad, because he allowed me to learn these lessons, and he talked to me to learn these lessons. And it really was a great experience. It really did. Even though I was upset, even though I was frustrated and I was angry and I wanted it, he still told me that in order to want things, in order to receive things, you have to constantly be good. You have to constantly do things to show that you deserve it, rather than, rather than just doing good one day or doing good last week. It's not about last week, it's about this week. What have you done this week? And I feel like God, in a sense, does the same thing. Like when you're praying and you want something, he says, you have to constantly be good. You have to constantly follow me. You have to constantly be in fellowship. Constantly pray every day. Show that you're dedicated. Show that you want to be in Christ. And you have to do that. But if you pray and you don't do any of that, and you ignore what God wants you to do and ignore what Jesus wants you to do, then you're not going to be able to receive. You're not going to be able to receive the glory. You're not going to be able to receive the reward that, should be given, or that you've earned. Because it's simply put like this: just because you're a good person doesn't get you to heaven. Just because you do good doesn't mean you're going to heaven. You have to follow in Christ to get to heaven. Accept him as your Savior, to pray, to do certain things to get you into heaven. So I thought that was really great as a father. A really important role as a father. Because even though dads get bashed on and moms get bashed on, it's all about the lessons. It's all about what they can give to the child. Some fathers, they're deemed to be the bad guy. I wanted to deem my dad as the bad guy, my biological father. But simply put like this, he's not the bad guy. He just experienced things different. There is no bad people. Well, let me not say that. There is no enemy. And this isn't Stoicism, this is Christianity. There is no enemy. And the reason why there is no enemy is because there is love. We accept that we have enemies and we love them. We don't claim them as not against us. Because, oh, don't we know the world is against us? Don't we know spiritually things are against us? But we love. And that's the important thing. That we love, that we cherish, and that we understand, and that we work through. If someone looks at me and says, I hate you, I'm going to look back at them and say, I love you too. Because we know that we're going to be hated. We know that we're going to be bashed. But it doesn't matter. We're still going to love them. It's not our job to judge people. It's not our job to be against people. It's not our jobs to ridicule or to make fun of. Our job is to love, to give mercy, and to be like Jesus. To be like God. Now let's build our nether portal. Should I put it in here? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm putting it in here. I'm just gonna expand this room a bit. Oh my. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the aspect of lust. Because I know there's a lot of things of this world that we struggle with, especially as Christians. For me, I struggle with lust. Especially being in a relationship where someone doesn't share the same religious views as me. I struggle with the ideals of lust because, you know, I see my partner and I don't receive that love, that type of love that she gives me. And once I receive that type of love, the love builds on and on and on and on. But the simple fact is to wait till marriage. I know we want the gratification, we want to be satisfied, and we want to know every aspect of our partner, but the truth is, God will want to relieve you of that issue. And the only way to relieve yourself from that issue is to simply wait. Restrict yourself. Train yourself to realize that sex isn't the only way. Even though people glorify sex and talk about it all the time, and we're exposed to it in media to show them that level of affection. And I feel like with sex, you have to remind yourself that I love this person. That doesn't mean I have to give them my body. I can kiss them, I can hold their hand, I can, you know, brush their hair, but I don't have to progress any further than what God wouldn't approve of. And that's a lesson that I have to learn. Because trust and believe, this thing called, what's it called? Purity culture? Or purified culture? I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. But if people are going to strive to do better, then that should be okay. But people shouldn't have an issue because someone else is striving for better. Hey, mama. Are we doing boxes today? Good. Huh? What's wrong? You gotta go get that checked out. Does it affect your throat? Huh? Does it affect your throat?
It's my sinuses and everything. No, it's all right here. From here, all over here.
That's not good, mama. But there's other ways. Just like in No Nut November, there's other ways. You don't always need this one way that will satisfy you and will give you the relief. There's other ways. There's other ways, and I assure you that. For someone who has trained themselves to be disciplined, I failed many times. And that's what discipline is supposed to be. It's allowing you to fail, but it's allowing you to get back up and do the things that you want to do. So when I say be disciplined, strive and be better. Because at the end of the day, you're still human. You're going to fail. And that's something Callie has to remind me, is that I'm going to fail. I'm going to fall. I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to be guilty. I'm going to mess up. And that's okay. Because mess ups is one step forward to progression. So when you mess up, don't dwell. Keep doing it. Not keep messing up, but keep trying to do better. Because practice makes progression, and that's all that really matters. You gotta practice, you gotta progress, you gotta be strong. So we're gonna keep building. Gonna keep building right here. The flower's getting in the way. I gotta remind myself that I can talk. I'm so used to sitting in silence, and I'll be in silence with Callie too, and I know it's a problem. But I realize that it's okay to talk, and sometimes we just enjoy our presences. Presences. We enjoy our presence without the mean of communication, and I think I kind of like that, because sometimes I'm just not a communicator. Sometimes I just don't want to talk or don't want to say things, and I want to observe rather than act or do things. But with YouTube, obviously you have to interact. You have to not only, observe, but I didn't think that through. But that would be cool. That's a cool walk-in. We can grab lava and then make it like all the way down. That's an interesting idea. Yeah, I'm gonna try that later. I love being creative. Oh no, that's not what I want to do. Ooh, but then again, that's actually kind of sick. I'm not gonna. Ooh, I'm thinking innovative right now. If we have this whole room can be a nether room, right? But then we can do stairways going down and like one stairway going to the side. Innovative thinking, big brainer, big brain. But then that also I need more glass if I want to do that too. But we can have an upper room and then a lower room in order to have our portal. So we're gonna do step. And maybe I can do, yeah, we're gonna just do from here to right here, because I don't think I want too big of a room, but we can like make it kind of deep and have like an enchantment room, but now it's downstairs. I like that idea. It's a really good idea. I realize I can play music, but I simply forget the fact that I can do that. And I don't know how copyright works for Twitch, so sometimes I just pray to God that I don't have to. I don't have to deal with that copyright. I also need to start like editing some of my videos, because I did 2 videos the other day that I could, get clips from. I have been lacking on the content creator department of my life, but it's a good thing it's summer. And this is step 1 to not lacking on my content creator part of my life, because I am a content creator by heart, And I say that all the time. Like, I love content creation. It's such a fun thing to do, to spread your own opinion, spread your own perspective. Just, it's really healthy way, and really good way that I'm absolutely in love with. I've also been getting really fascinated. Speaking of content creating, let's talk about gaming development. I've been getting really interested in the way that Zelda was developed as a video game. Genshin Impact is also one of those games that just make you like be at like just look at it and see how amazing it is. Because it's just a very beautiful world. Just like with Pokemon and the new games, like, you know, and even in Pokemon, I wanted to mention this the other day, even in Pokemon, there's still that religious aspect to it, and that's what, like, makes me fall in love. If I tell Naomi, she is going to be, like, she's going to probably feel the same way as me, because Naomi is literally like a sister, not even like a sister, but, like, best friend. Like, she is my heaven buddy, and I really hope that that will be like a prevalent thing, a strong thing in the future. Because heaven buddy, like, just like, you can say all of that, right? Like, but heaven buddy, who's ever heard of that? I've never heard anyone say that to me, and that is something unique and special you have to hold, especially for a friend to look at you and say, I want you to be my heaven buddy. That is a type of love that no one else can, you know, make up. I want you to be my heaven buddy. There's just something genuine and special about that. Like, that's rare to even hear someone say that, I want you to be my heaven buddy. Like, imagine being buddies in heaven. I've never heard anyone say that. Heaven buddies. Like, I'm still, like, kind of caught on it. It just catches me off guard, because that is something special, and it's not something to be taken lightly. If someone wants to be your buddy in heaven, that is your best friend. Lock them down, talk to them. Speaking of which, I should probably say good morning or something nice to Naomi, because she did something so sweet yesterday. She made a photo, like, little photo thing, a photo album with all of us in it, and us was my group when I was a sophomore. And so I just feel like that type of friendship, to be able to have that type of friendship, is such an honor. A very much so an honor. Because you're both in the same boat. Even though I'm not someone who goes to church a lot, unfortunately. But even then, it's just like, if I were to, you know, experience that and to do that, I would want to go with my heaven buddy. It's just a good, healthy friendship to have, and that's what I admire the most, that you can be yourself, truly yourself, and, you know, talk about it. It's like a little book club, but instead it's a Bible club. Bible club. I like the way I worded that. It's like a little book club, but no, it's a Bible club. But it's a really special, like, thing to even be a part of, like, to be able to have somebody that you can call your heaven buddy. That's insane. To have that honor. Heaven buddy. I'm over here goshing about it, like freaking pon, poon poon, or whatever they call it. I like saying pon. Like, goodnight, pon. I know it's, no, P-U-N is poon, but, I don't know, pon. Goodnight, pon has always been, like, more of a ring, like, to me. But no, it's goodnight, poon. Oh, poon poon. That just sounds so weird. So funny. So funny. Alright. Now we're gonna put this down here. Voila. And this is our work in progress. Oh, like I got this like beat stuck in my head. I don't know what they were. I want to say Muslim or Arabic, but it was this guy knocking on the door, and every time he knocked on the door, he'll say something like Allah or Iman or something. Yeah, man. Yeah, very interesting there. Alright. Minecraft. Like, look, yeah, this is all. Yeah, we all. Listening to me. And I just sent a text about like how I believe that science and Christianity can coexist. There's just some things that, you know, science is a very man-made thing, while like religion is more of a god-like figure, and a God-created thing. But I also believe that they can coexist, because the world we live in, obviously, there's a creation to it, there's molecules to it, there's atoms to it, and there's just things that God can do that now we can be, I guess, sort of aware of. And I know it's a very like kind of crossroads thing where some people don't like to intersect like God and religion with science. But for me, it's just like I understand. I would always pick God over science any day, any day, any day, any day. But I also like hearing the science religion crossroad where things make sense scientifically because of Christians. So that was interesting.
I'm gonna write this story. Huh?
Hmm?
Look, you come in there, I'm gonna run to the store.
All right. Anyhow, guys, I'll be right back. Oh.